Hey, True Believers, England here with another comic book origins. It's been a long time since I've done one of these, so I'm happy to get back on this particular horse. We're going to be talking about the very first appearance of Peacemaker, who's kicking all sorts of ass on TV right now. I mean, let's face it, nobody cared about this character until he appeared in James Gunn's Suicide Squad movie. And even then, they didn't like him because he killed Rick Flag. Spoiler alert. Created by Joe Gill and Pat Boyette, which I'm wondering, I've got a friend named Ed Boyette. I wonder if he needs some royalties from this character. I don't know. First appeared in Fightin' 5, number 40. He was a backup feature for this. And yes, he didn't say it the same way, but he was a character who loved peace so much he was willing to use force for it. However, back in the day, he used less lethal means. That was a Charlton comic, but of course, DC Comics kind of acquired all the Charlton heroes. So they did their thing. They only released like a mini series with him. He's made a few appearances, but basically, he's lived in the background of DC Comics for decades until now. So kick back, relax, and let's get into Fightin' 5, number 40. So there's really no point in talking about the cover since he's not on it. He's a backup feature in Fightin' 5. I was trying to say Fightin' Force 5. I'm never going to get that right, I think. So we open up on what looks like one of the worst splash pages I've ever seen. Introducing the Peacemaker. We see two guys walking towards the reader. It looks weird. This is a man who detests war, violence, and the dreadful waste of human life and senseless conflict between nations. A man who loves peace so much that he is willing to fight for it. This is the same man named Christopher Smith, occupation envoy to the Geneva Arms Conference, a man dedicated to peace. Well, good for you, sir. Good for you. And we see Chris, at this point, he's still Chris, getting onto an airplane saying the president is concerned with the border wars in South America. He's on the plane, and I swear to gosh, that's Geraldo Rivera looking at us, right? I mean, he is staring down the camera, too. If this were a movie, he'd be that extra that just kind of looked right at the camera here. And he's saying these wars are being provoked, but by who? I am satisfied that none of the great powers are meddling in that area. The countries involved should be buying farm, tools, staples, foods, and building schools. Instead, they buy tanks and guns and bombers and kill each other in a war that neither of them want. And we see that they're about to land in Geneva, and Chris is thinking to himself, a man called Bork is rumored to have sold weapons to both nations. I've begun inquiries into his affairs. I should have some information on him after we land. And they land, and a young lady, I'm guessing, the lipstick is looking weird on that, Christopher Smith's secretary briefs him in the car as they leave the airport. Bork is believed to have agents operating in the two countries, Mr. Smith. It was reported that they sabotaged the buildings and bridges and inflamed the governments. And we see some assassins. At this moment, Emil Bork, the suspected war maker, is waiting for Christopher Smith's limousine. It is Smith, master. Destroy them, says Emil Bork. Bork's men use lightweight automatic weapon fire explosive bullets, and Christopher Smith seems doomed. Get down, Miss Blair, and stay down. And actually, that's not bad art. I like the explosions coming off the car. That's pretty good. And then we see Bork and his assassins. Well done. Well done. Now get down there. And they look into the car. The master ordered us to get the papers which the American envoy is carrying. They must be in here. And, well, it looks like everybody's dead, but apparently not. The bad guys release an odorless gas, I guess, killing the assassin. They grab what they need from the car and they take off. And we see the Peacemaker and his secretary looking for the papers that are missing. Cut to a dinner party where, I kid you not, look at the dialogue here. So the Peacemaker is introduced to Emil Bork, the bad guy. And then he refers to Bork in the third person, like he's not there, when he says, Mr. Bork has some extremely efficient radio fire weapons, I believe. And then the guy says, you know of them, Mr. Smith. You are very well informed. Why did he refer to it's just bad editing, I guess. There is an adage in your country which indicates that a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. Too much knowledge, Mr. Smith, can be fatal. And so the Peacemaker's looking on. The CIA thinks Bork is plotting to start a brushfire war in their country next. Those diplomats who've been warned about Bork, but he seems to have them hoodwinked. And later he's in his own home and he's thinking, well, Mr. Bork is unscrupulous. I've used every means at my disposal to foil his plans. And he walks down into his secret lair. Inside is an arsenal of the most potent weapons ever devised by man. He has designed all of them, but as a man dedicated to peace and nonviolence, Christopher Smith has sworn never to use any of them. If Bork is permitted to continue, Christopher says, he will involve half the world in his senseless wars. And then we see him stripping, and he basically is saying, while I can't do anything because I'm a man of peace, he then switches into his Peacemaker outfit. And so, although Christopher Smith has sworn never to use these implements of violence, he reluctantly assumes the role of the Peacemaker, a role he resolves he will only take when there is no other recourse, when violence can only be stopped by violent action. I've got to learn what Bork is up to right now. My new jetpack will take me to him quickly. And we see him flying. The new jetpack gives Peacemaker almost unlimited powers of flight. Now to use full power. Vroom. I guess he's going super fast now. Built into the marvelously designed headpiece, I don't want to call it marvelous, dude, is an all-wave radio receiver. And now he gets his first inkling of Bork's next move as he hears Bork say, and inform the master that the 3 members of the Peace Commission are in our custody. So Peacemaker decides to land. The radio signal emanated from this field. The master's orders are to execute anyone in his way. And we see the Peacemaker running. Incredible! I missed him, said the bad guy. Peacemaker jumps towards him. And I love this. This is hilarious Silver Age silliness right now. So they're firing at him point blank. And you see it bouncing off him and all that kind of stuff. The bullets bouncing off of him. And the narrative box says Bork's operatives aren't missing. He wears a thin, palatable body armor which sheds ordinary bullets. Not on his arms. We can see it. We can see it. But I love the fact that they decided that they have to explain what's going on here. So we see the Peacemaker start to beat the crap out of him while the other bad guys are shooting, not hitting their own men, I noticed. Although Christopher Smith has lived a life dedicated to peace, as the Peacemaker, he displays an awesome talent for violence, but he doesn't have eyes in the back of his head, and so isn't aware of the powerful weapon in the hands of Bork's chief assassin until it's too late. Well, until the chief assassin says, turn around, I must learn who you are before I kill you. And the Peacemaker does turn around, and he says, I am the Peacemaker. I am the sworn enemy of your kind. And the bad guy says, what, Jews? He says, I'll tell the master what you said. And Peacemaker says, I've got a laser ray. I can destroy him down to the last molecule, but such action is against every instinct. I must do it. I've got no choice. And so the Peacemaker aims the laser ray at the weapon instead of the man, and the weapon melts, turning white hot in the assassin's hands. Bork, is your master here? Where is he? And Bork says, don't hurt me. He's waiting in the twin jet bomber over there. And we see the bomber fly off, and Peacemaker uses his jetpack to catch up. Is he too late? The powerful jet bomber is taking off as the Peacemaker hurtles towards it. The rocket will pulverize the fool, says whatever bad guy is in that plane. And the Peacemaker says, I can't dodge it. The Peacemaker says, the laser ray detonated it, but I'm in the blast zone. The bad guy in the plane says, the fool thought to foil me, Emil Bork. Wait, I thought that was the guy he was talking to. I don't know. I'm confused on this one. Nothing will stop me as the world goes up in flames. My power will grow. It says, is this the end of the Peacemaker? His is a noble crusade. Is it finished? Before it's really begun, don't miss the next exciting chapter of the Peacemaker in the next issue of Fightin' 5. There you go, gang. That's it. That is the first appearance of the Peacemaker. What'd you think? In all honesty, it's very quick. It's very kind of silly, stupid. I can understand why it didn't take the world by storm. Otherwise, it in all honesty, I thought it was entertaining, though. The art leaves something to be desired. Not the best of what we've ever seen as far as these origins are concerned. I have a feeling that had DC Comics, maybe Blue Beetle, you know, maybe the Question, but I have a feeling if the Peacemaker didn't get picked up, he would not have been made anything. I mean, let's face it, DC Comics had him for dang near 50 years, and it took that long for anyone to get interested in him. But that's just my opinion. What is yours? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to click like and share, subscribe. You know all that stuff. If you don't mind helping out the channel, there's a link to Ko-Fi in the description below. And I'd like to thank everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all of the true believers, thank you very, very much for watching. Have a good night.